welcome to a fresh new edition of your favorite program, Science Monitor, a program that keeps you updated on all that is happening in the world of science and technology. First, let us take a look at the headlines. Government all set to rejuvenate Ganga and other major rivers of India. 2100 crore rupees approved for production increase of oil seeds and pulses in the country. A two-day seminar held in Bengaluru to bring people closer to the world of science. Himachal Pradesh Great Himalayan National Park gets UNESCO World Heritage Tag. And in our segment In Focus, we tell you what are trans fats and why is there a need to restrict them in our diet. And now news in details. A national conference was held in the national capital on 25th of June on the conservation of rivers in our country. Apart from a detailed discussion on Ganga Rejuvenation Program, the issue of conservation of other major rivers of India also gained prominence during the conference. Here is a report.
A national-level conference on preserving rivers in India was conducted on 25th June at New Delhi. The conference was presided over by the Union Water Resources, River Development and Ganga Rejuvenation Minister Sushri Uma Bharati. Speaking on the occasion, the minister declared that the government is in the process of preparing a compact plan to rejuvenate River Ganga. The minister also indicated the possibility of adoption and implementation of same parameters to clean up other rivers in the country. Ms. Uma Bharati also declared that a meeting of technocrats, saints, environmentalists and NGOs has been called on 5th of July for consultation on Ganga Rejuvenation Program. Adding that private sector has offered help in the task and collaboration from other countries will also be considered, the minister said that there is no deficiency of funds. The project aims to clean and rejuvenate River Ganga and plan strategies to ensure the free flow of water throughout the year without having to compromise on the power projects on the rivers.
There is good news for the farmers engaged in the cultivation of oil seeds and pulses. At its recent meeting, the General Council of the National Food Security Mission or NFSM approved a sum of 2100 crore rupees for the calendar year 2014-15 to encourage the production of oil seeds and pulses. NFSM approved different action plans for different states of the country. Here is more on this story.
Exploring the possibilities and potentials of using hybrid varieties of different crop seeds and adoption novel farming technologies, the General Council of the National Food Security Mission, which met on 25th June under the chairmanship of Agriculture Minister Shri Radha Mohan Singh, approved action plans of different states for Rs 2100 crore for 2014 and 15. During the meeting, the General Council reviewed the performance of NFSM in 2013-14 and 4 states, namely Maharashtra, UP, Bihar and Tamil Nadu made presentations on their performance in NFSM. The mission has decided to focus on increasing production of oil seeds and pulses in the coming years. Under this, it has been decided that NFSM program in Himachal Pradesh, Jammu and Kashmir and Uttarakhand will take up extensive cultivation of pulses. In addition to the existing practices, the Council has approved taking up demonstrations of intercropping of food grains with oil seeds. During the meeting, the Agriculture Minister Shri Radha Mohan Singh postulated the feasibility of taking up production of seeds of hybrid varieties in different rice-growing states. The minister also pointed out that there is an urgent need to take up oil testing and providing soil health cards to individual farmers, especially small and marginal farmers, to enable them in making informed decisions on input to be applied, resulting in better productivity and cost effectiveness. The National Food Security Mission was launched in August 2007 to meet the food requirements of the country. The main objective of the mission is to increase production and productivity of wheat, rice and pulses on a sustainable basis in the country.
On its foundation day, the National Institute of Advanced Studies organized a 2-day seminar. The main objective of the seminar was to bring people closer to the world of science. Many eminent scientists delivered their lectures on this occasion. More details in this report.
National Institute of Advanced Sciences (NIAS) Bangalore, as part of its Foundation Day celebration, organized a seminar titled When Science Meets the Public, Bridging the Gap. The two-day seminar that was held on June 20th to 21st at GRD Tata Auditorium, NIAS, was inaugurated by Shri K. Kasturi Rangan, former member, Planning Commission, Government of India. The seminar saw the participation of many eminent personalities who delivered lectures on various aspects of science communication. The meeting was held in the form of an academic meeting with wide-ranging discussions on various aspects of communication in the sciences and academia, and a brainstorming session on the challenges that face traditional science journalism and science communication in India today and probable solutions. The discussion also focused on the use of emerging web-based technologies like social networking sites and blogs to bridge the communication gap between the academia and public. Most of the speakers focused on the need for effective communication between the scientists and common man in order to enable informed decision-making and involve the stakeholders in the democratic governance.
We are living in times where there is no aspect of human life which is untouched by science and technology. Unfortunately, the details to which science and technology is taking us, the common man is unaware of details, and consequently decision making by the common man becomes difficult. And when it is a question of collective decision making like a government policy, it becomes even more difficult, because in a democracy we want to respect the views of the public, but we don't know what is the views of the public, and we don't know what molds the views of the public, because they are not fully informed. And what we are looking for today, and what is probably the need of the hour, is informed decision making by the stakeholders after getting all details, which requires an effective communication between the scientists and the public at large.
India has faced many controversies in the past. Genetically modified foods, siting of nuclear plants, mobile phones and radiation. These are all issues which are catching the minds of the people. All of them need to be addressed. Without taking a side, how can the public's mind and heart be won? That is the job of the science communicator.
Several case studies which has evoked wide public interest, such as nuclear energy, genetically modified foods, clinical trials and use of stem cells, the effects of radiation from mobile phones, etc. were taken up for discussion during the seminar.
The Great Himalayan National Park Conservation Area was recently approved for inscription on the UNESCO World Heritage List. This was announced at a UNESCO meeting held recently in Doha. The Great Himalayan National Park Conservation Area is a place of rich biodiversity in Himachal Pradesh and home to several rare and threatened species of flora and fauna.
And here comes the great news from nature lovers. The World Heritage Committee has now marked the Great Himalayan National Park Conservation Area of India on the World Heritage List. The marking has been done on the basis of criterion of UNESCO guidelines, which aims to contain the most important and significant natural habitats for in situ conservation of biological diversity, including those containing threatened species of outstanding universal value from the point of view of science or conservation. The Great Himalayan National Park, located in the Kullu district of Himachal Pradesh, is a unique biological hotspot with large biodiversity from both Oriental and Pala-Arctic realms. The Great Himalayan National Park Conservation Area covers a total of the 905.40 square kilometers and include GHNP covering 754.4 square kilometers, Science Wildlife Sanctuary covering 90 square kilometers, and Tirthan Wildlife Sanctuary covering 61 square kilometers. The park is home to several rare and threatened species, including the western tragopan, cheer pheasant, snow leopard, Himalayan musk deer, Asiatic black bear, Himalayan tahar, blue sheep and serow. The park is also habitat to nearly 25 threatened IUCN red-listed plant species.
In order to test the purity of different materials, while it is necessary to have the right technology, a specialized research laboratory is also required that will be able to identify even the minute impurity in a material. The National Centre for Compositional Characterization of Materials, or NCCM in Hyderabad, is working in this direction. Here, the qualitative attributes of different substances are examined. Recently, a two-day conference was organized at NCCM, during which some of the laboratory's analytical services were discussed in details.
The National Centre for Compositional Characterization of Material organized a seminar on National Centre for Compositional Characterization Material (NCCCM) in the service of the nation during 24th and 25th June 2014 at Hyderabad.
We are organizing seminars and visit to our laboratories for media to showcase excellent work carried out by our scientists of Bhabha Atomic Research Center and to inform the citizens about our contributions in the area of safe drinking water, food, agriculture, health, industry, and most advanced research in the area of nuclear energy. In this series, we have organized a two-day seminar on the theme National Center for Compositional Characterization of Materials in the Service of the Nation at Hyderabad.
The aim of the seminar was to sensitize the public and media about the research and development being carried out by NCCCM in the field of analytical sciences, particularly in crucial areas like high purity materials, ferrous and non-ferrous metals and alloys, industrial catalysts, etc. On this occasion, a visit to NCCCM facilities and a field visit for fluoride detection were also organized.
So, NCCCM is a part of Bhabha Atomic Research Center, and in this center we take mostly analytical work for chemical testing type, where we cater to the needs of industries, other government institutions, universities, and work in the field of environmental contamination, high purity materials, and depth profiling in thin films, electronics, and similar kind of things.
National Centre for Compositional Characterization of Material has been set up by the Department of Atomic Energy, Government of India, as a National Centre for Analytical Sciences. The centre provides specialized analytical services for the determination of measures down to subparts per billion level of concentrating, along with validation support to analytical efforts in industry and appropriate areas like environment, material and life sciences.
This center initially was conceptualized to support to all these industries and public sector companies who are going to get into the high tech, where such pure materials are required. So, that was the original genesis. But then we also have started supporting other industries and also the universities. So, it itself has become now a complex where not only we serve the high-end industries and national institutes, but also the universities. People can come, give us a sample, and we service that.
The centre also provides training to analytical scientists and consultancy services to industries in process optimization and product evaluation, along with supplying reference material.
Time to take a very short break here, but we'll be back with more science news. So, stay tuned. Welcome back. After the break, you are watching Science Monitor. And now our next segment, Science Express, shall take you through an exciting journey that will show you some other scientific activities across the country and the world.
The Indian Space Research Organisation has declared that its PSLV C-23 satellite launching vehicle is scheduled to be launched from Satish Dhawan Space Centre of Sriharikota Space Station at 9:49 hours on 30th June. PSLV C-23 will be carrying 5 foreign satellites from France, Germany, Canada and Singapore. The satellites, including 830 kg Spot 7 Earth Observation Satellite from France, AISAT satellite of Germany, NLS 7.1 and NLS 7.2 satellites of Canada and Velox 1 satellite from Singapore. Union Minister of Health and Family Welfare Dr. Harshvardhan has proposed the declaration of a blood donor year instead of a blood donor week in order to make blood donation a national movement. Felicitating frequent blood donors and speaking at the valedictory function of culmination of the Blood Donor Week at the Indian Red Cross Society, Dr. Harshvardhan stressed on the need of donating blood in the context of shortfall of about 2 to 3 million units per year within the country and urged the public to participate in the Health for All movement by donating blood. Answering the memorandum submitted by Shri Kiran Rijiju, Union Minister of State for Home Affairs of India, highlighting the special requirement of the northeastern region in the area of agricultural education and research, Agriculture Minister Shri Radha Mohan Singh has assured that more new institutions for education and research, including agricultural and veterinary colleges and universities, will be opened in all the 8 states of the northeast region. The minister in this regard has directed Indian Council of Agricultural Research to look into the feasibility of opening new institutions, keeping in view the needs of local farmers.
In India, while a large segment of our population is suffering from poor nutrition due to a lack of proper diet, there is another section of society which is getting ill due to food-related diseases. In order to lead a healthy lifestyle, while it is important to have the right amount of calories, it is also important to have the right quality and quantity of fats. In our segment In Focus today, we shall look at our food habits and also the need to regulate the amount of trans fats in our diet.
The ancient medical practitioners of India considered food as the daily medicine. While insufficient intake of food and the undernourishment is a peril to good health, so is the intake of excess of food, particularly food rich in fatty components. This is one of the ironical problems that our country faces today. It has been observed that the rapid urbanization in recent years has introduced a major shift in our lifestyle, in turn adversely impacting our dietary habits and health. Hence, while on one hand a large population of this country suffers from serious malnutrition and chronic energy deficiency, on the other hand, cases of lifestyle diseases like obesity, diabetes and coronary heart disorders are on the rise. Under these circumstances, the need of adoption of healthy living habits is evident and important. The risk factors associated with these lifestyle diseases include unhealthy dietary practices, physical inactivity and overweight, habits like smoking, drinking and drug abuse, physiological stresses, etc. In the recent years, it has been proved that of these factors, the quality and quantity of the dietary fat play an important role in the development of such disorders. The dietary fats are made of different types of fatty acids, namely saturated, monosaturated and polyunsaturated fatty acids. Saturated fats, which are generally considered harmful, come mainly from animal sources of food such as red meat, poultry and full-fat dairy products and are known to raise total blood cholesterol levels and low-density lipoprotein cholesterol levels. On the other hand, monosaturated fats and polyunsaturated fats generally obtained from plant-based foods and oils and are known to improve blood cholesterol levels, thus decreasing the risk of heart diseases and type 2 diabetes. Besides the saturated fatty acids, a certain criterion of fatty acids called trans fats are also known to be very harmful. Usually, unsaturated fatty acids can exist either in the CIS or the trans configuration depending on position of the hydrogen atom in their structure. While CIS form of fats are fluid and melts easily, the trans forms are known to be rigid and have a higher melting point. Trans fats are produced when oils undergo a food processing method called partial hydrogenation. Research studies show that these partially hydrogenated trans fats can increase unhealthy LDL cholesterol, thus increasing the risk of cardiovascular diseases. Cooking practices like frying is also known to produce trans fatty acids based on the temperature of frying the food, duration of frying, number of times the oil is heated and reheated. In 2003, World Health Organization had recommended that the trans fat intake should be less than 1% of the total energy. However, the Indian Dietary Guidelines proposed that the trans fat intake should be less than 2% of the total energy. In light of the high risks to health and well-being they pose, doctors advise that trans fats should be avoided from the diet as much as possible. Some suitable strategies to limit the trans fat intake include Though Vanaspati is considered an economical substitute for pure ghee in our country, the use of Vanaspati, partially hydrogenated vegetable oils and margarine should be avoided. Check food labels to avoid having food items prepared in Vanaspati, PHVOs or margarine. Limit the intake of fried, baked and processed foods, particularly the marketed fried foods. Use non-hydrogenated oil for frying purposes and avoid overheating of oil. Avoid reheating and reuse of oil for frying. Avoid using ready-to-use or instant mixes for preparing food as they have a greater chance of containing the trans fats. While eating food outside home, it is advisable to skip deep-fried food and also be aware of the type of oil used for preparation. Substitute hydrogenated oils with healthier alternatives like rice bran oil and olive oil, which are also rich in nutrients like beta-carotene and vitamins. Hence, it is important to be aware of the amount of trans oils in one's food and reduce the chances of dangerous ailments.
There are some people who always inspire the young generation due to their personality and their achievements. Professor Bhaskar Ramamurthy, Director IIT Madras, is one such personality. Not only has he done exemplary work in the field of wireless technology, he has also given a new vision to take IIT Madras to greater heights. Today, we introduce you to Professor Bhaskar Ramamurthy in our segment Meet the Scientist.
Professor Bhaskar Ramamurthy, the present director of Indian Institute of Technology Madras and one of the founding members of the Telecommunications and Computer Networking Group TENET, is a well-known figure in the research community. Born on 17th April 1959, Professor Ramamurthy in 1980 gained a B.Tech degree in electronics from IIT Madras. Following this, he gained an MS degree and PhD in electrical and computer engineering from University of California, Santa Barbara in 1982 and 1985 respectively. After obtaining his doctorate, Professor Ramamurthy worked at AT&T Bell Labs for 2 years before joining the faculty of the Department of Electrical Engineering at IIT Madras in 1986 as an assistant professor. He served as the Dean of Planning at IIT Madras during 2005 to 2011 before taking over the role of Director in September 2011. Professor Ramamurthy specializes in communications, wireless networks and signal processing and is known for authoring 2 of the fundamental papers on indoor wireless communications, one of which forms the basis for currently used Wi-Fi technology.
We decided to use wireless technology to actually develop a cheaper, more affordable telephone line, fixed line. So it was called wireless in local loop. And at that time, wired telephone, a telephone that is provided to a home or office by laying copper on the road, on the ground, used to cost at that time 30,000 rupees per line. We found that by using wireless technology, you could actually reduce the cost of providing a telephone line to 10,000 rupees per line at that time, from 30,000. And not only that, you could do it without digging and without all the mess associated with all that in Indian context. So we built that system, and we actually, the students we helped, they created a company, and 1 million lines were deployed in the country through BSNL. It was called Cordect. That was our first experience in actually building a real system, testing it in the field.
Professor Ramamurthy is an active opponent of telecom sector and has been engaged for the past 20 years in R&D for developing innovative wireless products for the Indian market. He is one of the founders of TNET, which comes up with several products like Rural ATM, Medical Diagnostic Kit and Indic Computing, to name a few.
I've been focused on industry and this as a country becoming strong in wireless technology and using it to actually address the telecom challenge in our country.
A recipient of many prestigious awards and honors, Professor Ramamurthy is also the founder and honorable director of the Center for Excellence in Wireless Technology, member of Governing Council of Rural Technology and Business Incubator, chairman of Governing Council of Reliance IITM Telecom Center of Excellence, and member of the team that conceived the IITM Research Park and currently chairman of its board. Professor Ramamurthy created the Broadband Wireless Consortium of India. For his outstanding contributions to research and development in communication sector, he was awarded the Indian Semiconductor Association Lifetime Achievement Techno Visionary Award in 2011.
And what has been this week's contribution to the history of science? Let us find out in our segment History of Science.
On 30th June 1934, Chintamani Nagesha Ramchandra Rao was born in Bengaluru, India. Rao, a Bharat Ratna awardee, graduated from the Mysore University in 1951. He worked on material chemistry of transition metal oxide systems, which include high-temperature superconductivity, colossal magneto-resistance and metal insulation transitions. He was awarded with the first Indian Science Award in 2006. He has been the director of the Jawaharlal Nehru Centre for Advanced Scientific Research in Bangalore since 1989. He is known for his outstanding contribution in synthesis and characterization of designers solids with novel structures and properties. On July 1, 1961, the famous Indian astronaut Kalpana Chawla was born in Karnal, Haryana. She graduated from Punjab Engineering College in Chandigarh in 1982. She joined the NASA Astronaut Corps in March 1995 and was selected for her first flight in 1996. She went on her first space mission in November 1997 in the Space Shuttle Columbia, which was on its 24th flight. Kalpana Chawla was the first woman of the Indian origin to fly in space. In 2000, she was selected for her second flight as the mission specialist in charge of the microgravity experiments. The flight unfortunately could not bring her back. She is now the inspiration for every student of our country. On 4 July 1790, George Everest was born in Wales, England. He was the British surveyor and geographer who came to India in 1806. In 1830, he was appointed as the Surveyor General of India by the East India Company. He completed the trigonometric survey of India along the meridian arc from the south of India extending north to Nepal. This survey, along with his subsequent surveys, is considered responsible for the calculation of Mount Everest's summit height, establishing it as world's highest mountain. The mountain peak is thus named in his honor.
So, how do you like our program Science Monitor? Well, do send in your comments and suggestions through email. Our email address is news@vigyanprasar.gov.in. You can also send us your suggestions by post. Our postal address is Vigyan Prasar, C24, Kutub Institutional Area, New Delhi 110016. That is all in today's edition of Science Monitor, but we shall meet next week with more dosage of science news and lots of exciting information. Till then, goodbye and take care.